Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us. I hope that you have taken time to learn a little bit about RIT and know a little bit about who we are. But we're hoping that we're going to spend about the next hour together, not only learning about the admissions process, but also spending a little time with 5 of our students. So you can see there on your screens, we have 5 of our current ambassadors. Hello, students. How are you? Who've taken time out of their busy day. It's actually a recharge day on campus, which allows students to get off of Zoom and spend some time catching up, spending some time outside. But our student ambassadors, these golden stars, have taken time out and unfortunately are on Zoom. So anyway, I want to thank them for spending some time with us. So I want to talk about what RIT has to offer as far as academics and to give you an overview of who we are. So for those of you who are not familiar with RIT, we represent all 50 states. Our students, about 16,000 with a couple extra hundred on top of that, with our undergraduate and graduate populations. We are fortunate to have an international student body of about 1,900. As we continue to see an increase in diverse students graduating from high school across the US, we have also seen that reflected in the population of students that we recruit to RIT. Very proud of that, as it is one of our main priorities. Along with that, RIT is home to over 900 students who are deaf and hard of hearing. We also have a college, which is the National Technical Institute for the Deaf, which you'll see in a couple of slides. So as you look at who we are, we're made up of 9 different colleges, and you can see there about 90 different degree programs and 100 different minors. One of my favorite things about RIT is the fact that students really are coming from, when we talk about diverse backgrounds, different cultures, different rituals, different traditions, but they all are coming with very different interests in mind. And we bring them all to one campus where they're able to learn from one another and perhaps take a program or a course in an area that they never thought of pursuing. And so RIT is a great blend between the art, the design, students who are interested in STEM, being creative, being innovators, being project managers. So this is a great place where all these students come together. So one of the things that RIT is known for is experiential learning. So how can students do that during their time here pursuing their bachelor's degrees? So in case you didn't know, RIT is one of 9 national universities that were recognized recently for best colleges, US News and World Rankings, when it comes to what our students can do as undergraduates as far as cooperative education, internships, and undergraduate research. If you look at this list and you look at co-op universities, there are 4 big co-op universities. It's University of Cincinnati. They were the biggest and the largest and the first, you look at Drexel, we look at Northeastern and RIT. We're the big 4. There really isn't a close fifth. However, on this listing, you will see other universities that are also well known with RIT for internships and undergraduate research. So also along with the education program and the co-op, it's important to know that most of our programs require cooperative education. And what is co-op? On the right hand of your screen, it gives you a little bit of information, but it allows a student to really test drive their degree program prior to graduation. We were just talking with some of our students before we started this webinar. Some of our students have already completed co-op, a few others, both Emma and Ryan are about ready to sign on for their first co-op this summer. Students who are in the engineering programs, engineering technology, and computer science, those will be 5-year degree programs because you will do the equivalency of 1 year worth of co-op. And again, more information on that. But the important thing to know, it's great experience. You do not pay extra for tuition, and instead you get paid by the companies in which hire you. This is a sample schedule of what a co-op might look like if you're computer science, like I said, or engineering, engineering technology, environmental sustainability. Yours would be under the engineering example, first 2 years, pretty much at RIT, fall and spring. And then you begin alternating after year two with the time that you're at RIT, with the time that you're out on co-op. And then you'll see here, fifth year, you're typically on campus and then graduating after spring of year five. The business example. So students, and we have some on board here today, if you're in the College of Business, if you're in some of our computing programs, those programs would require 1 to 2 co-ops, and you can see those are typically in the summer sessions, so it doesn't cause any issues with scheduling for during the academic year. However, that does not mean that you couldn't do more than 1 co-op, and it certainly doesn't mean that you couldn't do one during the academic year. One of the great things about co-op and why our students continue to do so well, there's a direct correlation between experiential learning and graduation and placements and getting a job right after graduation. This is really the bottom line of what we have as far as our outcomes rate. So outcome rates are usually 6 to 8 months after graduation. The universities will calculate, they'll get in touch with all their graduates to see if they've landed a position, continuing with graduate study, or if they have alternative plans. We have some students that do a year abroad. We have some students that do mission work. Some of them are doing volunteer work. They're in the service. So many students will opt out, but about 94% is our outcomes rate for 2019. We're about ready to get all the information from the 2020 cohort as COVID has delayed those outcome rates a little bit. So if a student comes to us, and we hear this a lot, many students are interested in hands-on and really being able to do some research outside of co-op. And we really encourage students to participate in undergraduate research, and they can do that as early as the first year. There's all kinds of ways to find out about research. We have our own area on campus where students can find out about research. Faculty will announce when there are research opportunities available. The department offices will advertise this to students, but many times it's just one student talking to another and finding out about what's available. And you can really go over to our Albert Simon Center to find out also about entrepreneurial experiences. Next thing to know is, as we're looking here, my computer is a little frozen. There we go. Whoops. As we look at what it means to do an entrepreneurial opportunity here at RIT, there's different places to do that on campus. We talked about the Albert Simon Center, which is actually an incubator and an accelerator, but we also have the Magic Center. There's a Tiger Tank competition. There's a construction and makerspace, which is a great place for students to work together in teams to come up with the next best creation, whether it be a piece of software, whether it be an animation, starting a small company, and a lot of students then will compete in our Tiger Tank competition. However, one of the things that's super important for students to know is that to be an innovator and to be an entrepreneur, we want to provide you with the resources in order to be able to do that. So through networking, through mentoring, we have folks that this is what they do, is help our students get from point A to point B in getting their latest creation brought to fruition. So it's a really great place, and there's many stories to tell on how our students have been entrepreneurs. Our students are also coming from all different countries, but our students also like to travel and spend some time doing study abroad with other global opportunities. So we have 4 international locations, both in Weihai and Beijing, Croatia, both in Dubrovnik and Zagreb, Pristina, which is in Kosovo, and UAE at Dubai. So all of these campuses have certain programs that are available there. But in addition, a student at RIT is welcome to take a semester and sometimes up to a year, depending on their major, studying at one of our international locations. We also are in cooperative arrangements with other universities that study abroad in over 55 countries. Many students are interested in doing service abroad and work abroad. This is something that is a smaller commitment in that they could do a month, for example, in Italy. They can do a month in France, where it's not such a huge commitment, but they could do service work and get work abroad experiences. And again, we would help you with those through the Study Abroad office. One of the things that we're hearing more and more about from students, and this is definitely on its way up as far as demand goes, are more and more students are interested in doing a combined bachelor's and master's degree. So RIT has over 50 different combinations. We have a website for this. So in as little as 5 years, you can earn two degrees, which would normally take you 6 years. You're able to save a year of time. And so there's all kinds of great pathways where you can do this. There's set scholarships. So if the student graduates with an RIT bachelor's degree in one of the combined programs, they would get an automatic 40% scholarship. You can do this at the time that you enroll. We invite students based on their high school academics and performance into these accelerated pathways before they even get to RIT. However, the majority of students elect to do this at the end of their second year. And so you're not too late if you come in here, do a couple of years and decide that you want to do this. So a great way to be able to get that master's out of the way, spending less money and less time to do that. Also, a couple of new spaces on campus that are under construction and now open. Our new Global Cybersecurity Institute opened up in the fall. I'm really excited. I've seen video tours, but actually going to get to physically see the new space, which has state-of-the-art, the latest cybersecurity technology in safe rooms. Our students will be testing all kinds of computer viruses and creating new software patches, doing the forensics to help companies really decrease their chances of having another cyber attack, or finding out how an invader got into through a particular firewall. So our students are doing some phenomenal work there. And also we work with many companies to help them find ways to have their information protected at a much higher level. Our newest and biggest endeavor is the Makerspace. So it's our Maker Library and Innovative Learning Complex. We call it the IMLC. The money was started with a donation from Austin McCord. He's an RIT graduate, and he gave us the seed money of $50 million in order to start this huge Makerspace. Austin himself was a big student thinker and learner, and was always interested in thinking outside the box, always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so he started Datto, which is basically a cybersecurity company, sold it for $1 billion when he was 31 years old. And we've been very fortunate and appreciative to receive the $50 million donation. That is already under construction. There's lots of cranes on campus, lots of dust and dirt in that area, which is very exciting because we know that we're going to get a great new complex coming on board. So what our students are doing also outside of being in the classroom, and you're going to hear from our students, is there's a lot to do. Our students come with all different kinds of high school experiences, both in and outside the classroom. I love reading the essays on what they've been doing, looking at their activities lists. So our students tend to be students who don't sit around. They don't let dust grow and accumulate. They are very much students who are interested in being active. They are students who are advocates. They're part of service organizations in high school. They're interested in making the world a better place, having fun. They're athletes, they're involved. And so because of this, we have really built a tremendous and very active undergraduate population. So over 300 different clubs and organizations, different kinds of Greek organizations, and hundreds of annual events are held every year. RIT is also home to the RIT Tigers, our mascot, Richie, and we are home to D3 sports with the exception of men and women's hockey. That's one of my favorite things to do on campus is to stay through on a Friday, go to a men or women's hockey team or hockey game and really cheer on the Tigers in our brand new Policini Center, which is our second ice skating arena on campus. It's only a few years old and it's really a beautiful facility to come and cheer on the Tigers. This is meant to just be a quick sampling of some of the extracurricular activities that RIT has to offer. So you can see it's anywhere from dodgeball to equestrian, of course, esports. We have our own roller hockey, our own Quidditch team out there, this new phenomenon on cornhole, you name it. And of course, we are in the Great Lakes area. Skiing is big here. We have people who are interested in alpine skiing and freestyle snowboard, cross-country skiing. All this is available here at a recreational level. And you don't have to be good. It could be something that you've never done before. You want to try something out. So you just need to turn out for the team meetings. And last but not least is Humans versus Zombies, which is a great way to get to know students your freshman year. Performing arts have also been very popular at RIT, as many students that come to RIT have either played some type of a musical instrument. They may be in a chorus, they may be a singer or a performer as far as dancing or theater goes. So because of that, we've really kind of outgrown our current spaces that we have. With over 1,000 students that participate on an annual basis in the performing arts, we've got 27 different groups and that number is growing. We have more and more students that are coming to RIT and have started a performing arts scholarship. So if you are interested and want to send in a portfolio, you can certainly do that in the fall when you're applying for admission. But we want to let you know that our continued commitment has resulted in new facilities that are coming on board. There's going to be a black box theater, a dancing studio, and a new musical performance theater. You can't see it all that well, but it's on the bottom right-hand side. It's going to be super cool, and I can't wait until we have that as an offering for our students. Living on campus, again, we'll talk to our students to hear about this. Most students will start with living in a residence hall, 2 to a room. There are suite styles. We have RIT has its own campus apartments. We also have apartments that are located adjacent to the university that are not owned and run by RIT, but again, thousands of beds of offering additional housing opportunities, special interest houses, and different kinds of academic and lifestyle floors, along with Greek housing on campus. There are actually 27 now different places to eat on campus. I spoke with our new director or our outgoing director of auxiliary services, and there are actually 27 different options. And that's from eating in the dining hall to going to kiosks that are located in some of the different the university academic areas to bring it closer to you. Going over to Global Village, which is designed after Santa Fe Row in Arizona, has Mexican, it's got sushi, you name it, you can go over there with a bakery, cafes, all different kinds of flexible meal plans are offered. And of course, different kinds of facilities to make your living experience as easy and convenient as possible. Rochester itself has a lot to offer. A lot of people think of Rochester as just being a small little city. There's a lot going on. We're very much known for our arts and culture. There are 7 different colleges and universities in the area. We're home to Wegmans. For those of you who don't know Wegmans, it's this greatest grocery store ever, and different kinds of attractions, not only with the waterfront and ski resorts, but also lots of museums and the best festivals in the country. So admission at RIT really can be very easy as far as how do I get started? Do I have to know exactly what I want to do when I go to RIT? And there's 3 different ways that you can do this. You can apply directly to your major. I want to be an animator. I want to go into management information systems. I want to be an engineer. I want to be going to computer science. Whatever that may be, you can apply directly to your major. You can also apply to an exploration option, which is offered in all of our programs. And this is really the best option for students who feel that maybe they don't feel they have had enough exposure to a particular area in order to really pinpoint what kind of photography they want, what kind of science program they want, or engineering or design, et cetera, et cetera. So all of our programs are designed to offer you a generic experience within that first year curriculum that will also then allow you to continue on year 2 without skipping a beat. So these exploration options right in the middle here are perfect for students who are interested in a particular area, but don't feel comfortable picking something very specific. The last option is university exploration. And this really is our undecided program at RIT. This allows students who have no idea, or maybe they might be someone that says, you know what, I really want art, but I also like science. I don't know, I'm confused on where to start. This is the best place to start. You will have a faculty advisor, an academic advisor who will work very closely with you. You'll take skills inventory tests to see where your strengths are, things that you should consider as you are looking at different kinds of options for a career and for your academic study. But this gives you a little extra time in order to take some classes and make the best decision for you. And so again, 3 different options. The most popular has been applying directly to the major, but there are some colleges at RIT. Engineering exploration is bigger than any engineering program because most students feel that they just don't feel comfortable saying which engineering they want, and so on and so forth. So it really is best to be honest with yourself and apply based on where you feel you will benefit the most. So at RIT, we practice what's called differential admission. Our students take classes right in their major from day 1. And because of that, we need to make sure that we are securing a certain number of spots, and that is based on the student faculty ratio, and it's also based on facilities. As an example, we would find it much more conducive to do film and animation with classes of 20 versus classes of 40. There's a lot of time that faculty need to work with students in those majors and then also facilities. So their classes and their size of incoming classes of freshmen are smaller than, say, perhaps a computer science major. So based on that, we have a certain number of seats available for each entry program. We want all students to start off in their major right away. And then from there, we can determine admission. And it's really supply and demand. So the more students that are applying for a particular program, the more competitive, but it's also based on the number of seats that we have. So the competitive major can really vary quite a bit. And the most important thing that we look at when we are making admissions decisions are really based on the high school performance. So how's a student done day to day? What kinds of classes have they taken? SAT and ACTs are now optional for all of our programs. This will give you a feel for those that did supply the SAT and ACTs this year, where they fell. That's the mid 50 percentile. And a little over 50% did not submit test scores this year. This was our first year going test optional. So just to give you an idea, this is the typical profile of a student coming in. And if you're coming into any of our programs in the School of Art, School of Design, or if you're coming into our School of Film and Animation, a portfolio is also an additional part and a pretty significant part of the admissions decision. So again, as we look at the high school record, these are the things we're looking for. But we're also looking at your essay, recommendations. What do you do outside the classroom? What kinds of interests do you have? What kinds of activities are you involved in? We do read the essays. So the essays are a great place to talk about who you are, what's important to you, and then, like I said, a portfolio. But all of these items outside of your academic record really tells us a story about who you are, what kind of community member you will be as you become part of the RIT family. And so we're looking at your character. And these are all different things that we use in order to determine the kind of fit that you would be for our campus. There are different ways to apply for admission. We do not offer early action, but we are an early decision school. We have early decision 1 and 2. Early decision is great for a student who has RIT as their top choice. You'll get an admissions decision sooner. You'll get your financial aid. You'll know of scholarship. About a third of our students enter RIT through our early decision plans. And while other institutions we talk to, their early decision numbers have gone down significantly, ours have gone up. And this is because we really work with families. If you have questions along the way, if you feel that after you receive the scholarship and financial aid, that this is not an affordable choice for you, you will certainly be released from the early decision commitment. So we have been working really significantly with our families, and about 900 to 950 students come in every fall coming through early decision. So you'll see there, early decision 1 is November 1st, early decision 2 is January 1st, and then the regular decision applications, the preferred deadline is January 15th. We have continued to stay with the May 1 deposit. Last year, we moved it because families really need some adjustment and thinking time due to COVID. We moved it to June 1, but we are now back to May 1. Financial aid is a huge consideration for many families coming and looking at RIT. And this is something that we want to help you through the process. The merit scholarships, just so you know, are a separate review from financial aid. All students at the time they are admitted, whether they've sent in a FAFSA or not, will be automatically reviewed for merit-based scholarships. We also have, like I said, some special scholarships like performing arts and other programs, Project Lead the Way, First Robotics. And we just found out that the National Co-op Scholarship Program will not be commencing for this upcoming year. However, we still have, $320 million that are disseminated amongst our undergraduate students. So we highly encourage you to apply. Don't let the price tag scare you. I know that as a parent, I went through this with both my kids, and it is scary. And then you really just have to be patient and wait to see what the financial aid is going to be, regardless of where you're applying. And then let the schools do their work in providing you with a competitive financial aid award. So we're here to help. We have been offering campus visits with, of course, some of our ambassadors who you're going to meet in a minute. And we're very fortunate to have student ambassadors who have taken COVID very seriously and have been using protective measures in order to provide safe tours. So we've been doing tours since July, and we now are offering them again 7 days a week. They'll be 1 to 2 families per tour. Obviously, they are getting bigger and or more popular as spring break is coming along. But we still encourage you to visit. We have had no issues. There's a healthcare check when you walk through the door to make sure that everybody is aware of how the tours are going. If you can't come on campus, we still have student-led virtual tours led by our tour guides live. And then, of course, video conversation. If you've got questions, you need to ask any of our admission staff questions, you can certainly do that. And then also come on campus whenever you have time this spring or summer. So at this time, I would like you to meet some of our greatest rewards here at RIT. 5 wonderful student ambassadors. I will introduce them one by one. First, there's Diksha. There you are. Biomedical sciences student here and biology, and she's a local student, and we're so fortunate to have her. Very good school district, Fairport, New York. Sam Adams, who is a computer science major from Fairfax, Virginia. So yes, he did decide to come up to the snowy weather from beautiful sunny Virginia. We have Emma. Emma's from the Ivory Coast, and she's a student that's studying management information systems, and you're going to hear from her in a couple minutes. Love her accent. Just found out that Emma's in one of her courses with my son, who's a junior this year, so that was kind of fun to know. Ryan Bliss, who is in a mechatronics program at RIT, the Electrical Mechanical Engineering Technology program, has transitioned to mechatronics. And so Ryan is here from Comac, New York. And again, last but not least is Anna Layden. She is from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, and is a student pursuing a Bachelor of Fine Arts in photojournalism. So how's everybody today?
You're doing great.
Yeah,
Great.
good.
Great. So thank you so much for joining us. I know that you're on a day off. I promise not to keep you, but you really have been out there doing lots of walking, like miles a day doing tours. So I can't imagine, some of it warm last summer, some of it cold this winter. So thank you for everything that you do. So we're going to get started and talk to each of you. I'm going to introduce each one of you. Just tell us where you are in your program, first year, second year, and if you've done any kind of experiential learning, whether it be research or co-op. So I'm going to go in the order in which you're on the screen. So we're going to start on my screen. I'm going to start with you, Sam.
Hello, as you mentioned, my name is Samuel Adams. I'm actually in the computer science program, which is in Golisano, part of the College of Computing and Information Sciences. I have done a co-op, this being my 5th year. I've had the opportunity to complete all 3 of my co-ops. I actually continue to be a software developer with Northrop Grumman. I joined them after my 2nd year and did a double block co-op with them. And I had such an amazing experience, I decided to do my 3rd co-op with them as well.
Great. Now, where was that location for that co-op?
Absolutely, yeah. So that location was just outside of Baltimore, Maryland. So I got to have the experience of living in such a fun city. I got to meet amazing roommates and go out to different restaurants and see the local sites. And I got to work with them in person. So my first 2 blocks were thankfully working with them on site. And actually my building was a bunch of clean rooms, which RIT has. So that's why, they were attracted to RIT students, because we work directly with microelectronic engineering.
That's fantastic. Great. Thanks for joining us, Sam.
Of course, thank you.
Ryan, you're next on my screen.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm a 3rd year in the electromechanical engineering technology major. That's in the College of Engineering Technology. If you're interested in my major, it's now called mechatronics. It went under a name change. I'm also a part of the BS-MS program. So I'm doing my bachelor's and my master's in 5 years. I have applied and got my first co-op, so I'll be going out this summer working for Texas Instruments. So yeah.
That's fantastic. And where were your co-op be located, Ryan?
Sadly, it got converted to virtual, but I was supposed to go to Portland, Maine. It's still up in the air and I'm talking to them, but I think it's going to be virtual.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, I'm thrilled that the companies still want our students bad enough that they're willing to offer the virtual. It's a lot more work at the beginning, but you never know how things might change.
Yeah.
So,
They said that they have projects in line and things for us to do, so I'm excited to see what they have in store for me to work on.
absolutely, absolutely. So Diksha, you're next on my screen.
Hi, I'm Diksha. I'm a fourth year double major in biomedical sciences, which is located in the College of Health Science and Technology, and then also in biology, which is in the College of Science. My programs have experiential learning, so I have done research since my freshman year.
Great. And Anna, photography, photojournalism.
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Anna Layden. I am a fourth year in the photojournalism department, which is a part of the College of Art and Design. I've also done my minor through the College of Liberal Arts in Political Science, and I'm from Coatesville, which is right outside of Philadelphia. Our program doesn't require us to do co-ops or internships, but I did complete an internship a couple of years ago through a different university.
Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And last but not least, the lovely Emma.
Hello, my name is Emma. I'm a third year in Management Information Systems, and that's in the College of Business. I have not done a co-op yet, but I'm going on co-op this summer.
And do you know, and where are you co-oping this summer, Emma?
I will be working for CDK Global. It's a virtual co-op, but I was supposed to go to California.
So that's a little bit of a bummer, right?
Yeah, I wanted the summer weather, but it's fine.
Right. Well, at least you're on a co-op, so I'm thrilled about that. So that's great. Congratulations to all of you who've been in co-ops or on your way to doing co-ops. So as we are embarking on this next chapter with the students who will be looking at this and the school counselors, they have lots of questions and are really looking for words of advice. Tell me how many schools you applied to when you were going through the college search, and some words of advice as they are looking upon this journey of the college search. Anybody can answer. You know what? Let me go to Diksha first.
So I applied to 17 schools, which I think is a large number. And I don't know if I would recommend doing that, maybe condense your list a little bit more, but words of advice, I would say go with the flow. I think the whole college process is very difficult. It's crazy. There's, lots of stress within it, acceptances, rejections. So just kind of go with the flow. You'll end up where you're supposed to be. So just take it as it is and keep going with it.
Great advice. How about you, Ryan?
I applied to 7 schools. They were all in the Northeast. I wanted to leave Long Island, but I wanted to stay somewhere in the Northeast closer to home. I kind of just went out anywhere that had STEM fields because I was very interested in engineering, but I didn't know a type. So I did enter RIT in the Engineering Technology Exploration Program. So that also drew me in. But I have advice, which is just go with your heart. Sometimes when you're looking at all the colleges, some things look similar, some are different. But I think for everyone, one college always sticks out, but you never want to say it. I always say just go with what you feel is best.
Great. That's great advice. Emma, how about you? How many colleges did you apply to, and some words of advice?
I applied to about 5 colleges. I wasn't sure which country I wanted to go to. I applied in New York, London, and Paris. My words of advice would be to reach out to the advisors, admissions advisors. They were really the person who helped me choose RIT. Of course, I also chose RIT because of the study abroad program and the co-op program, but definitely reaching out gives you another perspective into the application process.
Great. Anybody else? Samuel.
I
just called you by your full name. Does that mean you're in trouble?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, my parents called me by my middle name when I was in trouble. So I actually only applied to 5 schools. It was a pretty short list, but it was anywhere from Georgia, Virginia, and New York. My word of advice is, if you can, I highly recommend visiting the campus in person. You can see all the stats, you can see all the numbers and the opportunities, But when it comes down to it, you're gonna be living there with the people that go to this college. So it's really important to meet the staff and the students and see the campus.
Great, great. And then Anna, how about you?
Sure. So I applied to 12 colleges when I was in high school. I applied to some that weren't in photojournalism just because photojournalism is a very specific major, so not a lot of schools had it. But RIT was pretty far down on my list. It was maybe number 8 or 9, just because I didn't know a lot about it when I applied. So I think my biggest piece of advice would be simply to keep yourself open to any school. I was looking at schools all over the country. I wanted to be somewhere warm. I thought I wanted to be in the middle of a city. But here I am in way up north suburban RIT, and I absolutely love it. So don't be afraid to look at schools that you think you might not want to go to at first, I guess.
Great. So as you look at the kinds of opportunities that you have at RIT, tell me what you do when you're not in class. So I think one of the downsides of having Institute of Technology in the title of our university, and I look at our fellow universities that have Polytechnic in their name, people envision that it's very institutional and there's not much going on, but a whole lot of studying, and it's competitive dog eat dog amongst the students. I know as an alum of RIT many years ago, that certainly was not the case. And I just know that it's not the case now, just in speaking with students. If you could describe a little bit about some of the things that you do when you're not a student, so when you're not in classes, what are some of the things that you do in your personal time? Anybody can.
I can take this. There's actually, a running joke among my friends in DC. Wait, Fairfax is just outside of DC. So all my DC friends like to joke with me that I like to talk about the Finger Lakes any opportunity that I can. I have multiple shirts from the Finger Lakes and things like that. I think one of the benefits of RIT is that it's not in the middle of nowhere. It's quite the opposite, honestly. We might be in suburban part, but that's just the benefits of a quieter location. You have downtown Rochester, which has an amazing restaurant scene and a lot of amazing museums like the Museum of Clay. We have the Finger Lakes, which are just absolutely beautiful. And I think anyone, anywhere in the United States has to visit them at least once. We have Niagara Falls, and Toronto is only a 2.5-hour drive when the borders open and we don't have COVID around. But that's definitely what I like to do. I like to visit the Finger Lakes or Canada or the restaurant scene in Rochester for sure.
Great. Anybody else?
There are a lot of other activities in the area. Right down the road, there's laser tag and also a trampoline park. I've gone to both of them and I've very much enjoyed myself with my friends. And then also we're like not in the middle of a city, so there is a lot of nature around. I go on a lot of walking trails. There's one right down the street. It's a nice like biking running trail, but then there's also the trails down the Genesee River. And there's also opportunities to kayak on the Genesee, which I've done and I've loved that as well. So there's also a lot of outdoor activities that you can do in the area too.
Fantastic.
I can go next. So I usually attend a lot of activities on campus. Our college activity board has a lot of things to do. They have Freeze Fest, Spring Fest, Fall Fest, and I got to go on a mechanical reindeer. I got to ice skate, and I got to do a lot of things just by going to the activities. By far, my favorite thing to do is to attend the hockey games. Everyone here knows how much I love hockey. I hadn't been to a hockey game before coming to RIT, and it's definitely my favorite sport. There's a lot of things to do. You can support the team. And it's just so great that I would say you definitely have to love hockey when coming to RIT. And even if you don't love it, I guarantee you that by the time you graduate, you will love hockey.
So do you sit next to the corner crew or the pep band?
Yes, that's the best place to see that. And you get to cheer with them. And it's definitely worth the experience. I guarantee that you will see me at every single hockey games. It's just really nice.
It's a lot of fun. It's a great crowd. The corner crew, for those of you who are listening in on this, is this crazy group of enthusiasts who, some of them have been supporting the Tigers since, for 30 years. And they come out, there's a big community support system here. They love to watch college hockey. And oh, they razz the refs. They give the goalie of the opposing team a hard time. There's some name calling that goes on. It's crazy. And all in good jest, but it's a lot of fun. So I completely agree with you, Emma. It is a great time. So I'm glad to hear you do that. Anybody else? Diksha, Anna, anything that you do outside of being a very busy student?
I can add, I know Sam kind of touched on the food scene. I'm a huge foodie, so my friends and I like to just go try all of the restaurants within the city. And then also Jefferson is right next to campus, so there's a ton of restaurants. We have a Thai restaurant called King and I, like 10 minutes from campus, and it's so good. So if you guys ever come here, I highly recommend trying it. But the food scene is definitely great in Rochester.
I'm a big foodie too. Your favorite restaurant in Rochester?
Definitely King and I.
The King and I. That is one of my top choices for sure.
Also
And
recommend Dinosaur Barbecue for sure downtown. You have to check off that box.
Dinosaur Barbecue is absolutely fantastic. I'm a big, huge Korean food eater, so I love going to Sodam. That's really good. Of course, Thai food. My favorite food of all time is Indian food. I've got a couple that are pretty neck and neck tied with each other there. But I really love Haveli. Haveli is like, I think, my favorite. So
I love Haveli too. Just wanted to add that.
that's one too.
Yes.
Favorite coffee place? Anybody have a favorite coffee place?
I would say Midnight Oil.
Midnight Oil, which is on campus. Yep.
I keep it simple with Starbucks, but I do have a favorite Starbucks location. There is like a one that had just recently opened. I know the people watching this won't understand where East Henrietta Road is, but for the people, for us, the one on East Henrietta Road by the Wegmans on Calkins is a great Starbucks location. And when the weather warms up, I love to go and sit outside over there and just enjoy the sunshine and people watch.
Perfect. Java Wally's has the best cookies ever. So I'm a big fan of Java Wally's. Java's is a local company, coffee place, coffee roasters, but they have one in our Wallace Memorial Library. So it's called Java Wally's, and they have the best cookies anywhere. And I'm a huge cookie foodie, so that's great. Best coffee place is definitely Java Wally's. But if you wanted to venture out and go into the city, Spot Coffee is my favorite place down in the city of Rochester. That's great. So other words of advice, as we're looking at RIT and as people are looking at RIT, words on how to prepare for the move in to college, what to bring with you, what not to bring with you, things that you learned either the easy way or the hard way. Anna, let's start with you.
Sure. So when I was getting ready to move in my first year, I watched a lot of YouTube videos about like people moving in just to kind of get an idea for what they did, like tips and tricks that they had for moving in. I think one of the biggest suggestions I would say is like get a mini fridge. That was like one of my biggest things. I like snacked a lot my freshman year, so I definitely liked keeping a little fridge in my room. But yeah, definitely either looking on the internet for what other people do or talking to people in your life who are already in college, just to ask for their personal advice, because everybody's different and everybody has their own little like tricks on how to make the move easier.
When my son was moving, it's funny that you say that, when my son was moving in, there were all kinds of things on YouTube that students were posting. These were RIT students showing how they decorated their rooms and the things to bring with them. I'm like, oh my God, that's a little over the top, but those are all great ideas. I wouldn't do all of the things that they recommended, but so that's a really good idea. Mini fridge, because you like to snack. That's perfect. That's perfect. Anybody else? Words of advice on the move in, do's or don'ts?
I think that a mattress topper is a good investment. I think RT does have some guidelines for student housing on the type of material it can be, but I definitely recommend that to help you get some good sleep between busy homework schedules and classes and things like that.
Yep, that was a must for both my kids. They both wanted that for sure, no matter, and they're at different places. So Ryan, how about you?
When moving in, you should talk to your roommates and make sure that you don't come all at the same time. My freshman year, I was in a forced triple, so it's a double room with 3 people. I know it's not happening because of COVID and everything, but 3 people in the same room and moving all in at once is a lot of, also the family and all the suitcases and bins and all of that. So you should definitely talk to your roommates and be like, what day are you moving in and like what time, and try and stagger it a little bit so that you're not all tripping over each other coming in and out of the door.
That's a great idea. Plus, parents' emotions are running high, right? They don't want
Yeah.
their kids to be moving in, and it's like, oh, I only have a few more minutes left with them. And so, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Anybody else? Any words of advice?
I can add something from the international perspective.
Sure.
If you're an international student like me, you'll most likely have a limit of 2 suitcases. So I would say don't bring a lot of your clothes. If you come from a hot country like mine, you're not gonna be able to use it most of the time. So don't bring a lot of your clothes. Bring one big coat and just buy the rest over here, because most likely you'll have to buy a lot of things here. So just don't butter yourself.
That's a good idea. So sheets and blankets and all that, you just bought that when you got here?
Yes, everything here.
Great, great. So faculty access, I'm going to change subjects here a little bit. So we shared with folks that our classroom sizes, faculty student ratio, classroom sizes are relatively small compared to other universities our size. And why that's so important is different students learn in different ways and their comforts are different based on the size of the classroom, but more importantly, your access to faculty. Have any of you ever run into an issue where you wanted to talk to a faculty member, and then how did you go about getting that assistance that you needed or the access that you needed to faculty?
I can start with this one. So for all of us, we have, I think, bigger classes in the first couple of years and then they get smaller. So with those bigger classes, I know it can be intimidating. And it definitely was for me. I remember general chemistry, I'm not good at chemistry. So trying to find help for that was hard, but the professors have office hours. Also, they answer their emails really fast. So mine answered his within 24 hours. So I would just go to his office when he was free and visit that way. We also have graduate students who taught our labs. So I remember going to my grad student every week and having her like read over my lab report. So there's definitely so many ways to access the professors. That's definitely something that I wouldn't be worried about coming to RIT, just because the access is definitely there.
Great. Anybody else? Access to faculty?
So I would say it has been pretty easy. Like Diksha said, all of our professors have office hours, and most of my professors will have one-on-one meeting in the middle of the semester just to talk about how we're doing. And even about professors, Saunders has something called Dine with the Dean. So you are free to sign up just to have lunch with the dean and chat with her. So it has been easy for me to just contact the professors and even the dean.
Great, great. So Saunders is our College of Business, which you are part of, for those out there in the audience who don't know. And so, yeah, Dean Mazeral, she's awesome. And she really puts herself out there and wants to get feedback from students and spend time with them. So, and she's a real doer. Like if you tell her that there's an issue, she's all over that. So it's really good to hear that you have taken advantage of that and have gotten to know the dean a little bit better. Anybody else before we move on?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can say something
Sure.
real quick. My department, we kind of have like, it's called like the wheelhouse. We have our student services center at one end of the hallway, which is where like our faculty and academic advisors are. And then we have like a poster for all the tutors in the department. And then down the hall, it's all of the professors' offices are in one giant stretch. And most of my professors actually have a open door policy where some of them, they're in their office and their door is just open. So if you see them in there, sometimes I've just swung by to say hi and like ask how it's going. And other times I've had questions about assignments. So whether it be professors or academic advisors, everything for me is kind of in one place and it's very easy to access by email or just looking into their office to see if they're there.
Okay, great. So did all of you live in the residence hall your freshman year?
Yes.
You all did. So Diksha, even though you are local, you lived on campus.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So you all ate at Gracie's.
Yeah.
Anna, did you eat at Gracie's? Yeah, okay. Your favorite thing at Gracie's? They're like, God, I gotta dig deep on this one.
I know it right away. I have three. There was a stand called Dippin' Chicken. I only saw it like once my freshman year, but I loved it. Gracie's does have some stands that rotate, and sometimes they're like they just come in like once in a while. You never know when they're going to be there. There was another one called it was like street food or something. They gave out like mini hot pretzels. That was also really good. And then they have like 12 flavors of ice cream, unlimited. So those are kind of my three things. But those stands that rotate once in a while, they usually have good stuff.
Okay. Favorite food, Gracie's.
I also really liked the ice cream. There's a million flavors and it was unlimited. So you could just swipe in, get some ice cream and swipe out. They also had breakfast. Their breakfast was pretty good, I thought, their omelets and stuff. So I enjoyed that as well.
Good. Anybody else?
I definitely agree with the breakfast. I don't know if it's still there, but they had a waffle maker. It was always the popular item at Gracie's. There was always a line for it when I was going, because everyone wanted a waffle in the morning.
Yeah, the Belgian waffles. Whenever I've stayed over for programs, that's what I go for. Their Belgian waffles are awesome. So I always look forward to that for sure. As you look at, where you've lived on campus, you were in the residence hall freshman year. How many of you are currently living in one of the RIT apartments or apartments that are adjacent to campus? Anybody? So Anna, where are you?
Yeah, so I actually have lived in a different place every year that I've been here. So my first year I was in Nathaniel Rochester Hall, which is one of the dorms. My second year I lived in the Global Village Apartments, which is kind of on the opposite side of campus from the dorms. My third year I lived in University Commons, which is a different on-campus apartment. And now I live at a different apartment complex that's maybe like a 6 to 8 minute drive off of campus. Honestly, I can speak to pretty much all of them being really good options for living on campus. I really liked living in Global Village just because it was so close to my classes, so I could just roll out of bed and be there in like 4 minutes.
Right.
But yeah, I can't really say anything negative about any of the places that I've lived, and I've lived everywhere.
When you were living in Global Village, did you take advantage of the marketplace or Midnight Oil or just grab pizza? Did you do any of that while you were living there?
Oh, totally. Yeah. So I lived in one of the apartments that had kitchens because in Global Village, half of them have kitchens and half of them don't. So my roommates and I like to cook together a lot. So we took advantage of the market that was down in like the Global Village Plaza area. Definitely went to Midnight Oil a lot, especially because I used to work late at night. So I would go there a lot for food. There is also like a 24-hour gym on that side of campus as well. So I would take breaks between doing homework to go like do a quick workout. So that was definitely convenient as well.
Great, great. Where are other people living?
I actually had I'm actually currently in an apartment complex adjacent to campus called The Hill, which is right next to the lodge. It's just one of the private options that, hosts a lot of students. But I actually had a pretty unique freshman living experience because I only lived in dorms for one semester. I did a quad I also joined Greek Life my freshman fall. So my spring semester freshman year, I actually moved into Greek housing on Greek Row. So that's another option that, of course, is limited to people who decide to join Greek Life. But that is another option that people aren't aware of freshman years. That is one of the ways you can, if dorms aren't working out for you, or if you're just interested in moving to a different option, RIT allows students to move into Greek housing their freshman spring.
Great, great. Anybody else?
Yeah, my freshman year, I lived in Nathaniel Rochester Hall. And then my second, now third and soon to be fourth year, I am living in Province, which is adjacent to campus. It's right down the road from dorms. So from here, it's like a 15-minute walk to be towards like any academic building. I have long legs, so I can get there faster than most people. But during nice days, it's really nice to be able to like walk to campus and walk back. But I'm also off campus, so it does have some bonuses like 4 bed and 4 bath. That's the big appeal for most private places. But yeah.
Yeah. So I have a question as far as the favorite things about RIT. So if you could list a couple of things that are your favorite things about RIT, what would they be? So I know, Emma, one of your favorite things is hockey.
Yes, I was definitely going to say hockey again.
It's okay. Anybody else? Couple of things that are your favorite things about RIT.
I do like the blend between like academics and social events. Obviously, I focus a lot on academics and I want to do well, but there's a nice blend of social events on campus that you can always take a break from your work and go and do. I can't think of half the ones that I've done while I'm here because they're happening every week. But I've done Mud Tug, Relay for Life. I've done all the festivals since I came here, Spring, Freeze, and Fall Fest. I'm also part of RIT Players, which is the theater group, and I do everything tech for that. So I've done stage crew and set design for all the shows. I do that in my free time as well. And then just like random events here and there on campus. There's food trucks, there's concerts. My freshman year I went to AJR. They had a concert that was amazing. So yeah, it's really nice to know that like you could take a break from academics and go and do something social.
Great. Anybody else? Favorite things?
I can go, yeah. I also like hockey too. I don't know if it's to the extent that Emma likes hockey, but I do like it a lot. I also like that I was able to start research my freshman year. That has definitely become a passion of mine, and being able to start it my first year was awesome. And then the community. I love the RIT community. This is really cliche, but everyone is super nice. You walk down the quarter mile, there's someone that will say hi to you. You might not know them, but there's always a friendly face around. So the community is definitely 20 out of 10. It's amazing.
Great. Sam, how about you?
That
Favorite
was
things?
actually the Diksha took my answer. I was going to say it's sort of broad, but it's also one of the main reasons that I chose RIT. The students that RIT attracts are people that you want to be friends with. RIT attracts good people, smart people, kind people. And so that's honestly my favorite part about RIT is just everyone that I meet in my classes and clubs and even the faculty are just all very genuine and very kind. So I really enjoy that about campus.
Fantastic. Anybody else? Think we're good? All
I
right.
can add something.
Yes, please, because you only had one. It was hockey. So what's your second one?
Well, I'll go for a random thing. I love the breakfast at Brick City. The serving of pancake with bacon is amazing. So I just drop that in there.
Do any of you take advantage of the visiting chefs?
All the time.
Yeah, so tell the audience what the visiting chefs is.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly every location they go to, but in my recent experience, we have rotating chefs across campus in designated locations. Correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't been on campus in a while, but at certain days of the week we'll have different outside vendors come in and sell the food on campus, and you get to use your campus dining dollars towards it. My favorite one is definitely believe it's Colombian food. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it is, but the best like shredded pork and plantains. And I know there's also a good rotating Indian chef. I'm sure someone else has more information on this than I do, but it's amazing.
Yeah,
Go
there's
ahead.
Tandoor India, Dinosaur Barbecue, Macaron, which is like gourmet mac and cheese. There's empanadas. Those went to Seoul my freshman year a lot, and I got those. Those are just 4 more that I know of. But yeah, I was like, and now the food trucks. I've gone to the food trucks a lot too. So since COVID happened, they didn't bring food trucks on campus, so you could just go outside and go to any of the food trucks that you want to as well.
Great. I know my son takes advantage of them because we see on his food plan what he eats. By far, the Indian food is his favorite. And then second, Pakistani house. He loves the Pakistani food. That's like his favorite. And you can definitely say he got the freshman 20, not the freshman 15, from eating all their food. So anyway, well, I want to thank all of you for joining us. You've all been fantastic. You are truly wonderful ambassadors. We're very fortunate to have you at RIT. But thank you for sharing your personal stories and experiences with our audience. I know it's a beautiful day in Rochester, and it's supposed to be again the next few days in the 70s. So enjoy this sunny time. Good luck with all of your exams. Stay safe and healthy, and we will see you soon.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.